Pony Girl is so excited. I just love how excited. Look, she just is like, look, here we go. It's time. Welcome everybody to Prep Talk Live, episode 115. I'm Casey. Um, Imagine that Tup is with me. I'm not sure. The last couple weeks have been nuts with school starting and just life stuff with the two of us. So catching each other, and I've had to cancel, and there's just been a lot of stuff. So I sent was talking to Tup earlier today, but we weren't really sure, and so I don't know if he's going to join. If he does, fantastic. If not, it'll be me for a little bit. Um, and we're not going to go too long tonight. I have developed a lovely cough, which is just so wonderful. I love my coughs that come in like in the fall, winter. It's like it just starts and then it just does not go away for like 3 months. So I'm hoping that this will go away soon. But in the meantime, I try to. Pony Girl is going for MVP today. That's just what's happening. Like I'm happy to be here. Um, so anyway, wanted to. You may have noticed the beginning, the image, the thumbnail, the headline, the flood. Um, See, here's the cough happening. So part of why today has been so crazy was we had a little bit of a flood. We have had a couple of floods before. One was we had a hot water heater that was getting installed, and the plumbers didn't turn off the water at the street. They turned off the water right at the water heater, and then they snapped the supply line as they were finishing the last thing, and ended up flooding like our living room and into the garage, and it was a whole mess. So we have had one of these sorts of issues before. Luckily, this one is much smaller than that one, but we started smelling like cat urine, pee, like it was a whole. We were like, "What did the cat do?" And the cat looked at us and was like, "I didn't do anything wrong," and we didn't believe him because he's a cat. I have in the last couple of months gotten a black light, which Tup has a black light. He tells us about how he takes it on vacation with him. That's gross. No one wants to know what is happening in that hotel room. We have it so that in case the cat were to pee somewhere in the house, um, sometimes with the color carpet we have, you can't really tell. So the black light is to help us find it. And so we had this. So we're wandering around the house as the smell has gotten worse over the last 2 days. And we go downstairs and we're like looking around with a black light, and we are not finding like a spot. And so we go into the bathroom downstairs, and it's our youngest bathroom. And we open the linen closet, and there's a pile of clothes on the floor, and they're wet. And we're like, "What did you do? Like, why do you have wet clothes in here? Like, oh my god, this is what the smell is." And they're like, "Well, no, I didn't do that. What are you talking about?" I remembered I was the one who actually kicked the clothes in like a couple weeks ago when we had people coming over just so there weren't clothes in the bathroom. But I'm like, but they weren't wet. Why is there wet everywhere? And oh yeah, the scorpion hunting with a black light that's creepy. That's just creepy. A, the way that they look, and B, the fact that you have to hunt for scorpions in all of it just gives me the creeps. Um, so then we noticed that there was like wet on the shelf and the closet. We're like, well, this is weird because why would there be water and why would the wick? I don't know. And as we looked up more and more wet shelves, then we got to the ceiling where there were drips coming down, and a gigantic bubble had formed where the um, drywall had come off of the screw, and the water that was pooling up above had started to pool through that little hole. So, needless to say, it was super fun. We have today then had contractors over trying to figure out where the leak was coming from, because it wasn't like a real strong leak. It wasn't like we had spraying everything or a pipe had shattered or something. There was just water existing. So we were ripped out the ceiling, and we had a wonderful contractor who we know came over, and he identified where the leak was, which was fantastic. Helped us find that. We got a hold of the insurance company, and this is one of those things where I have said on this podcast stream, whatever we're going to call this thing, many times that insurance is important, and I know it is boring. It is so boring talking about insurance, but um, we when I called our insurance people, they were like, "Well, we don't usually cover water if it's been there for a while, but oh wait, you actually have a rider on your insurance policy called um, long-term water and seepage, I think is what they called it, something like that. But it's a special rider that you put on in case you have a slow leaking pipe that you don't know about. Um, Luckily, we have really great insurance agents, and they had put it on there for us, and we didn't know that it was there. But apparently, it's something you have to ask for. So, um, as the remediation people came with the fans and trying to figure out how many fans they were going to need to put down there, and we had plumbers come over and they were looking at stuff. Um, they think that the leak actually has only been there for like a couple days, so it wouldn't really matter. That would have probably just been against our regular homeowners insurance. But if it had been there for a couple of weeks, they have like a 14-day cutoff, um, we would have been out of luck. So um, hopefully, we haven't gone through all of the insurance. We haven't started doing. All we know is we've stopped the leak, and we are going to get some sort of fans and rip out this linen closet and figure out. We may need to replace the carpet. We don't really know all of the things. Um, but what we did find out is we have this special coverage, um, and it is just a reminder to me sometimes that things can be super boring um, in prepping world. There's all kinds of super exciting prepping things that we do. We get backpacks and flashlights and how much food can we stockpile and all that sort of stuff. But there are other things that are going to happen more regularly throughout your day, throughout the month, throughout life, um, that require just some boring stuff. And insurance is one of those things. It's super boring, but it may save us now several $1,000s in repairs and remediation and rebuilding to basically put this closet bathroom situation back together again. So this is kind of I hope that you will use this as a reminder tomorrow, maybe Friday, whenever you watch this, if you're watching the replay, um, to call your insurance person, whoever that is. If you have an agent, if you go directly, lots of different ways. But call them and just see specifically in this case, what your water coverage is. Both there's flood insurance, which is like, hey, a river flowed or something. Although when I was talking to our insurance agent a little while ago, we were talking about flood insurance, and she was like, well, what if like a fire hydrant broke or something? The water from that actually would be considered a flood, and it wouldn't be covered by your home water insurance. It would require separate flood insurance. So I think it's important to um, check with your insurance agent, figure out what the likely scenarios are for your house. If you're renting, make sure that you have enough coverage for all of the items that would be in your house, apartment, wherever you're living, because a lot of times that's not required insurance. But if something happens to the building, the people who own the building aren't responsible for things inside of the building. That's your responsibility as a tenant, depending on state and locality, I guess. But if you're a homeowner, making sure that you know what, water, fire, in our case, earthquake, if you're floods, hurricanes, whatever those natural disasters are important. But also, like, if a pipe started to leak, you won't notice it unless it's big. This was going for a little while. If we had been on vacation and this is just going for a week and we came back, like, it would be nuts. Um, so yeah, so that is my reminder to call your, you know, if you go online, call whoever you deal with for your insurance. I'm assuming you don't self-insure. Some people do, but I'm assuming most of us don't. Call whoever is guiding you on that. And if you feel like you're getting like, it's never a bad thing to also call a different insurance person and just get a second opinion, just like you would for literally anything else. Just call a different insurance agent and have them quote you a different set of policies, either from the same company or a different company, um, but also get their opinion on the amount of coverage that you have, on the type of coverage you have. Um, they will kind of give you an estimate, but you can adjust the amount of the dwelling, the insides, and contents, all of those like line items can usually be adjusted. They don't necessarily always tell you that. And usually they're relatively big numbers. So you're like, I don't know, I'm sure that will cover it. Um, I was actually working on a project with AI the other day where I was trying to take the contents of our house and try to figure out what the replacement value would be of it, and some of it is rounding errors and things like that. But making sure, the insurance person was telling me, usually they're going to assume you have maybe a computer in the house. If you have more than one, you need to document it and let them know. And I was like, we have so many computers in our house. Like, we need all of that documented. We have a sleep number bed. It is amazing. Not for everybody, but it helps us sleep fantastically. It's a rather spendy little bed situation. Um, but if they just thought we had a regular king size mattress, like, they're going to give you the amount for that, as opposed to, no, we have a special uh, mattress sort of situation. Um, there's just those sorts of things that you want to make sure not only are line item out, so it's easy for you if you needed to, for any reason, get that reimbursed or covered, um, but also so you aren't underinsured. If you're, only insured for $10,000 and it's going to cost $50,000 to replace everything in your living situation, like, that's going to be a problem. You're going to have to, write that check for the extra amount. Um, so trying to make sure that all of that stuff is covered is important. Um, so yeah, so that's what I've been doing today, and why, me connecting with Pup was late and all of this sort of stuff, was just trying to figure out how to manage this flood situation. So, um, anyway, that has been, feel like that has been my big thing. Oh, fun story as it relates to all of this. When Pigsfly wants to know where the leak was. So the leak was, we have what's called CPVC pipe. I feel like plumbing people will know what that is. A lot of people probably know what that is. Um, it apparently was a very popular um, pipe type in the 90s. It apparently does not do well with changes in temperature. So in the Northwest, where we live, it can be really hot in the summer and it can be really cold in the winter. And it makes the pipe brittle. And so at a certain point, the pipes start to fail and you have leaks everywhere. Um, a lot of people now use PEX, which is more of like a clear tube. I don't know specifics on pipes, um, but it's kind of clear or whatever. And that's what is kind of used more currently, from what I understand. So we are in the process of trying to figure out what it would take to actually redo all of the piping in our house so that we don't have any more of these little leaks. Because now that we have one, it is only a matter of time before we get more of them, because it's just age. And if everything's been kind of had the same wear and tear and it's starting to fail, it's only likely going to have more things fail. So we're trying to figure that out. But that is what happened. There was a little T joint above this linen closet that started spraying water, and it just pooled in the top of this linen closet and started to bow the sheetrock. So luckily, the water stayed pretty contained. We didn't have it. We thought it was in like four different rooms, and we were gonna have to, rip out the bathroom, and we were gonna have to be in the crawl space and the bathroom up above it, and all this. But luckily, it seems like it was relatively contained. We know we're gonna have to rip out the closet. We think we're gonna have to rip out the carpet, um, but we may not have to totally gut the bathroom or the bathroom up above it or anything like that. Um, so that's what that was. Um, yeah, these are the weird things when it comes to insurance that like there's stuff that'll happen and you'll have no idea that that was a thing that existed, and then they'll decide that they're not going to cover it for some reason. Um, so I don't with like roof flashing and stuff, I don't necessarily know specifically how you would have diagnosed that, but that might be a question to ask your insurance person is, hey, is there some sort of a service or something where you guys will come out and look and see if there's anything that would prohibit a claim from being made or would stop something from happening? Um, but yeah, no, there's yeah, CPVC is I think restricted in a lot of areas now. Um, Unfortunately, it's in a lot of houses that were in the 90s. Yeah, the supply lines getting replumbed. So yeah, as we've done some not remodeling, but as we've had some repairs done in our house, we've had certain areas kind of replumbed. Um, but we know that there are main supply lines that still haven't been. Um, and so we're trying to decide whether it's better to try to um, replumb the main supply lines and wait to do the bathrooms and stuff until we actually are ready to remodel them, and then we'll open the walls and redo it at that point. Or if it makes more sense to just do a repipe all at once, and then essentially we'll just remodel around the new piping as we go. So yeah, so it's been an interesting day. We've it was interesting actually, like submitting the claim because it was all on the phone. So the last time we did this, um, we had our insurance people out. Also, the plumbing company that had broken the line had their insurance company out too. So we had like all of the insurance companies and everybody was involved, and there was lots of back and forth. Um, and they took really good care of us, which was nice. I don't know how they handled the plumbing company, um, but they did a really great job of accommodating us and helping us out. It was during the holidays, and like the inside of our house looked like Breaking Bad. It was like there's plastic sheeting everywhere and fans going all the time. Um, Luckily, this will, I think, be a little more contained and a little bit smaller of a project. Um, but it's still, you still have to call insurance. You still have to deal with it. Like you still have to have people come out. So it feels like you've got the same number of meetings. You just don't have as much involved in every single meeting. So um, we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, definitely call your insurance person and make sure that you're covered. Um, Boring preps, I think, is what we might call this or something. We'll have to come up with something. It's like paperwork preps or something, um, for just stuff like this, where it's when I talk about estate planning, it's when I talk about tax planning, it's when I talk about financial planning or insurance or any of this sort. Like these are the boring things, but at the end of the day, if we don't have some sort of cataclysmic disaster or something, like these are the things that are going to make it so that an everyday disaster doesn't totally send you for a loop. Um, so yeah, I'm just catching up on the chat. Um, but yeah, that is yeah, pigs fly. Yeah, no black lights in hotel rooms. It's just not. Nobody needs it. It's not a thing. Um, I am very excited to see. I don't think I saw somebody mention Tup's video about all this stuff. I don't think he released the Seattle video yet. Um, If he did, then I did not get a notification. Um, but I'm very excited for everybody to see that. I've seen at least a rough cut of it. It's very cool. It was so much fun. Tup has so much stuff. Oh my goodness, he has so much stuff. Um, so it was good that he was able to get rid of some of it. Um, it was great meeting people. There were a bunch of people up there, and seeing everybody and seeing the comments and the content that he's been able to create from it has been fantastic. So super fun. I'm going to be interested to see what his final cut looks like whenever that comes out. Um, yeah, new roofs are spendy. Um, our neighborhood, all the houses in our neighborhood were kind of built around the same time, so everybody's furnaces are going out at around the same time, and everybody's air conditioners were going out at the same time. We have hit the roof stage where now everybody's roof is getting repaired. Um, and so we're trying to push it like one more year if we can before we have to do that. But the quotes that we were getting are it's just a lot of money to spend on something that like you think about like what you could spend that money on that would be fun, and you're like, I am an adult, and so I have to spend money on a roof and instead of vacation, or I have to spend money on pipes that no one will ever see um, instead of going on a vacation or something. So adulting is not always all of the fun that it is cracked up to be. Oh, um, I'm going to take that signal with the coughing that I have officially talked myself out. It was great seeing everyone. I was glad that I could pop on. I was hoping the Tough might make it, but he released it 12 days ago. Okay, I needed to look at my YouTube notifications because I did not get a notification that he had posted it, and I haven't talked to him in. I mean, we've emailed back and forth. But I haven't really talked to him in a couple weeks, so I am even more out of the loop than I originally thought. So I'm going to get off of this stream and I'm going to go watch his video and catch up and um, uh, try to be more like on top of things. Can you tell that it's been a day? Like my brain isn't fully functioning. Anyway, um, oh, he put out 2 videos. He's very prolific now with his videos. Um, he's just putting out videos all the time now. Um, so yeah, so um, thanks for joining everybody. I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me while I talk about the exciting world of insurance and bumble through coughing and everything else that's going on. Um, hopefully we'll be back next week, both of us. Um, again, we've been playing phone tag a little bit with kids' schedules now, getting back into school year and all that sort of stuff. So I'm hoping that next Wednesday we'll both be back. Stay tuned. I will try to put out the notification earlier in the day. Um, again, today was like I was not really by my computer much of it today, so I realized at about 3 o'clock I was like, oh shoot, I haven't even put this out yet. So um, I'm glad that everyone was able to join. It was great seeing everyone. The chat, again, having a wonderful time. Happy to facilitate all of the chatting that's going on. And we'll hopefully see you guys next week. All right, talk to you later.